Once you have your tic-tac-toe board drawn, you're going to want to put it into a standard IDW. So you have to go to New, and then you go down to Drawing, and we're going to use the LMS Standard IDW. What this is going to allow us to do is put it in an orthographic view. That's the 3-drawing view. And we're going to be able to dimension it so someone could replicate it. When you're all done, it's going to look like this. And you can actually pull this sheet off of my teacher web, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of what 100 should look like. So, while this loads, I'm going to talk a little bit about the things you want to make sure you do. You want to make sure you have all of your dimensions. Any dimension that's at the same height should line up. Smaller dimensions are always on the inside. I would never have a 4.5 first and a 1 last. You always make sure it goes like this, smaller to larger. That makes it nicer to look at and easier to follow. You want to make sure if you have multiple holes, they're going to go up and over at the same angle, and you don't want any redundant dimensions, which means you don't want to dimension things more than you have to. So, what happens is when you open the LMS IDW, it might take a while, but this prompted entry box is going to pop up. This is all the field text you're going to need, and you're just going to put it in all caps, and period number, I'll just say this is period 1. So I click OK. Now the first time you do this, you'll get this box. If you go over here to where it says prompts, and you go to do not show this message again ever, this will never come up again. We aren't going to worry about that for my video because I'm going to have to do that again for another video. So this opens up. You've got a wonderful border with the title block. It'll tag whoever this is, so whatever your login name is going to be tagged there to identify you, and you can't change that. All the rest is placed in. So the first thing we have to do is get our tic-tac-toe board on here. So we're going to go to Base. We're going to go to Open an Existing File. So you're going to go and you're going to look for your tic-tac-toe file. And then it'll kind of be floating out here. Don't worry about that. What you want to do is change the scale to half. And then you want to change the style from hidden line to hidden line removed. And then you click OK. Now you can put your other views in by going up and clicking. And then when you're done, you hit right click Create. To move them around, they've got these little red boxes. You go and you click on them. You see that red line? It allows you to move it. So I'm going to try to center my drawing fairly well. Give myself some room for dimensions. I'm actually going to come and look at the PDF to see about where I had everything lined up. Try to make it match. So I've got everything in there. Next step before we move on, I want to make the right side have all of its hidden lines in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that one. I'm going to go down here to where it says Style from Base and uncheck it. And I'm going to change the style to hidden line. Now we're ready to begin dimensioning. To dimension, you go to Annotate. And there's a number of ways to dimension. First, we're going to start with baseline. And I'm going to baseline the side. So I'm going to start by clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right click Continue. And I'll bring them out until I've got the dot. Now, when you do this, you're going to hit right click and create, and then you're going to go to one of them, right click on it, go to Edit Dimension Style, and we're going to change the format from decimal to fraction half, and we're going to change the precision to 1/8. We're going to click Done. save. So that gives you all the dimensions how you want them. We're going to do the same thing on the top piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All left clicks, then I right click, hit continue. I go down till I get that nice snap in there. Right click, create. I'm then going to do a baseline from the side here. 1, 2, 3. Right click, continue. Right click, create. I'll then add my holes. I go up here with the first one, go up here with the second one, and I try to get them to be the same angle. I'm going to right click and click OK, and then I'm just going to come over here, and I just want to grab this little guy and try to, if I can, just drag the text above. And it's being difficult. If that happens for you, don't worry about it. I'm just going to hit escape again. There we go. And I try to line it up right above there because I think it looks more orderly. And the last hole I've got to make will be this one. I'm going to do this one over here. And I've got to throw in one more dimension, and that's the dimension from here to here. Click OK. Make sure that they don't touch. And then I've got to go in for all of my dimensions. Get these to line up nice. Go in for all of my dimensions like this one. I have to double click on it and type TYP, standing for typical, to add the typical there because all of the holes that are associated with that are typical. So I add TYP. So that's both of them. There's only one of these holes, so you don't have to do it. Then I go in and I add my center marks. I add them by clicking on all the circles. It's a real quick job. When I've completed, I'm going to right click and hit OK. I'm going to go on to the center mark. I'm going to right click, go to Edit Center Mark Style, and I'm just going to change the center mark from 1/4 to 1/8. That's 0.125. I'm going to hit Done, Save Edits. Got all my center marks. I changed them so they're more proportional. And the last thing I've got to do is add a center line here. And I just go right to the center mark, right click and hit Create. And although it's not necessary, you can come in after you hit escape and you could drag this, make it a little longer if you wanted. It does make it look a bit nicer. Just make sure they're proportional. And if we zoom out, that's all that's required.